Live from All-Star Lanes in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Crescent City Sports is proud to bring you the All-State Sugar Bowl LHSAA Bowling State Championship. We start our day with coverage of the boys and girls semifinals. And a pleasant good morning and welcome to a wet morning in Louisiana. Ken Trahan, along with Lenny Van Gilder of CrescentCitySports.com. And on behalf of CrescentCitySports.com, we would love to salute the All-State Sugar Bowl and the LHSAA for allowing us to be here today and make this possible for us to bring you the state championships. So right away, a shout out to our friends at the LHSAA, including Eddie Bonine, Fallon Buckner, Kate Adams, and of course Rick Bourgeois, the tournament director here as well. Semifinals coming up first on both the girls and boys side, to be followed by the finals. Lenny Van Gilder with us from CrescentCitySports.com. And full disclosure, Lenny and I are bowlers, have been all of our lives, and so we have some degree of understanding of the sport and have followed it and covered it faithfully for many, many years. Lenny, good to have you here.
It's good to be here, but full disclosure, we're not as good as some of these folks.
No, we're not.
The game has changed a lot since you and I bowled in high school. I gave this comparison the other day. I was a 171 average bowler my senior year in high school. I made the all-city team, and I would not even have qualified for the top 80 in singles this year in terms of how that went. So it's the game's changed quite a lot since you and I were competing in high school. No doubt about it.
Well, it really has, and obviously it's one of those situations where you've got a defending champion on the boys' side, you've got a school that's won championships on the boys' side, and you got some newcomers here as well. Let's talk about the boys' bracket and the semifinal matchups here today. First of all, from the boys' perspective, Brother Martin, the 2 seed, Central Lafourche, the 3 seed. Brother Martin, of course, has been the dominant team on the boys' side now for the last several years.
Yeah, 96-2 for the last 6 years, and their only 2 losses in that time are both in the semifinals. They're making their 6th consecutive semifinal appearance. You mentioned they're the defending champions, and this is a team that's set up to really be in position to repeat here, but this is going to be a very tough match against Central Lafourche. No question about it. These are arguably the 2 best teams, with no disrespect to what's going to happen in the other semifinal between Central and Rummel. But you look at the starting lineup averages, Brother Martin and Central Lafourche both have a big edge over Central and Rummel in that regard. So, and you look at the seedings as well. 1, 2, 3 held, and then Rummel, the 21 seed, really is not a 21 seed on paper, but they lost 3 matches to Brother Martin, Jesuit, and Shaw in the regular season, thus the lower seeding. But they took care of business in the early rounds. They knocked off the 5 seed and the 4 seed, St. Paul's and Dutchtown, to get to this point.
Yeah, terrific run by Rummel. Central, of course, the number 1 seed overall. And we always look at comparative scores. Averages tell a story. And as you mentioned, Brother Martin and Central Lafourche certainly are the teams that look to be the top teams here, although you cannot at all ignore Central or Rummel. Those should be good matchups. On the girls' side of things, we have a defending champion involved here as well with the Academy of Our Lady Penguins. They were slightly late getting here today with the weather outside, which
bus issues, as I'm to understand it.
Yes.
But look, this is an AOL team that you mentioned won the title last year. Mm-hmm. They knocked off the number 1 seed in this very building a week ago at Archbishop Chappelle, a team that beat them twice in the regular season. And now what do we have? We have a rematch of last year's final between AOL and East Ascension coming up here in the semifinals. On the other side, a very good undefeated South Terrebonne team will take on a Central team who is the number 6 seed. So that we talked about 1, 2, and 3 getting through on the boys' side. Only one of the top 4 seeds got through on the girls' side. It's 2 against 6. It's 5 against 8 as you look at these matchups.
Well, we've been spending a lot of time bowling all of our lives and covering this sport for many years. The same is true of our good and great friend and colleague from Baton Rouge, Kent Lowe, who has done a tremendous job for many, many years now for the Advocate in covering bowling like no other, frankly, and proud to call him friend and proud that he's covered this sport the way he has. It's great to have Kent with us today as well. Kent, welcome, and great to have you with us, and great to be in your town, my friend.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you here. Sorry the weather's not better, but thank goodness for bowling being an inside sport today as far as this goes. And a great crowd here, and that's always been the mark of the state championship, is the great crowd. And, we're very familiar with the Denham Springs team that won the first 4 girls championships. And now Brother Martin has that chance to match them with a 4th championship in 5 years. Lafayette had a chance in the girls, but Brother Martin's had the best shot. I think it'll be interesting to watch how someone like Cody Schaefer bowls today because he loves this house, and I think that will be a good indication possibly of what could happen tomorrow for him in the singles competition. So looking forward to it. I'll be kind of down on the fringes during the day helping you out with some score updates and all, and looking forward to being part of the telecast today.
Well, it's great to have you with us, Kent. Thanks so much for being here, and keep up the great work. That's Kent Lowe of The Advocate, and we'll be checking in with him throughout the course of the competition. Lenny?
Got about 3.5 minutes before action begins here of practice balls. Let's take a look at the format of of how we decide a winner in these matches, because a lot of people, well, maybe you've watched bowling, you haven't watched prep bowling and how this takes place. So your match format, it's very simple. There's 27 points at stake, and it takes 14 points to win a match. In the event we have a 13.5 tie, we have a 1-game roll-off. But the way you get to 27 points is this. There are 6 players in the lineup. You'll see 3 bowlers from each team on 1 pair of lanes, 3 bowlers from each team on a 2nd pair of lanes. So a match will take place over 4 lanes. 18 individual matches over the course of those 3 games determine 18 points. You've got 2 points for your team total each game. That accounts for another 6 points. And then 3 points for the 3-game total, or the super total as we call it, for each team. So that's how you get to 27, and it takes 14 to win. A lot of ways to do it. Obviously, the best thing to do is just, if you can beat the opponent across from you and get that point, enough of your guys do it, chances are that's going to take care of your total. It's going to take care of your super total. That's the way to win the match. We had a little bit of an oddity in the first round where the number 6 seed on the boys' side, Jesuit, actually won the super total in their match against Acadiana, but lost the match 14-13. So it's not impossible to lose total, or win total, I should say, and still lose the match. But as you see the scoring happen, when we get past the first game, 8 points will have been decided. After the second game, 16 points will be decided. But the number to remember is 14. That's the magic number it takes to win the match.
A lot of ways to get to that number that you need to win, which makes it very attractive, and that's what really makes this whole format special. And in fact, the thing I love about it is match play. It's really, in my mind, nothing better. Much like you see in golf match play or in tennis head-to-head, that's kind of what you're looking at here with respect to bowling, which I think is probably the best way to determine a championship, which involves individuals. So that's the setup for today. We're getting set for the start. You know, you look at recent history, and Lenny spoke of, and Kent Lowe spoke of, the Brother Martin dominance in recent years, having won 3 of the last 4 state championships. Archbishop Rummel, the surprise being here in the semifinals, won back-to-back state titles back in 2012 and 2013. So those are champions that are back here. On the girls' side, Central was a state champion in 2016, so they have been there before. Academy of Our Lady, of course, is the defending champion, so they have been here before as well in that regard. And East Ascension, as Lenny alluded to, lost to AOL in the title match a year ago. If you look at top bowlers, Lenny, let's do that very quickly.
Sure.
We got about a minute or so. On the boys' side, Cody Schaefer, Brother Martin would be the top bowler, but Andrew Levron, Drew Gardner, Hunter Dunn, Logan Gotro, Will Orling, Brandon Bonvillian, or others that have averaged 200 or better.
Yeah, and that's going to be an outstanding match. You look at it, 7 of the top 15 bowlers in the state are bowling in this Brother Martin Central Lafourche match. To give you an idea of the quality of what you're going to see out there, there's no question about that. So lineups filtering in now. We'll keep you up to date on that. Obviously, you're at this point of the year, assuming people are healthy, you're going to go with your best bowlers. South Terrebonne, for instance, will line up with their top 6 here in this first match.
On the girls' side, from a standpoint of averages, we've got 3 of the top bowlers in the state that are here with their teams, including Hannah Graythrough of East Ascension, Alana Coward of Central, and Danielle Poussard of Academy of Our Lady. Great accomplishment for AOL to be here again, Lenny, after graduating their best bowler from a year ago and upsetting Archbishop Chappelle to get here. So, terrific accomplishment.
And the thing that makes AOL a contender, once again here, to repeat, is their depth. And they come in with the highest team average. You know, there are a couple of bowlers better than Danielle Poussard who are here competing in the number 6 slot for their team. Okay? But it's that depth. It's the It's the number 5s, the number 4s, the number 3s, the number 2s, number 1s where you've got a little bit of an edge, and that's what gives AOL an opportunity here as you take another look at the girls' bracket there and see what's at stake there. So it's certainly intriguing in terms of what we'll have at play here. Teams making in their final huddles here. We are getting ready for bowling. One thing before we start, Ken, we need to mention is a change in the format for this year that got us to where we are. Those seeds you see up there were determined by power ratings, and the power rating system was used for the first time this year, and that's a big difference in terms of how we've gotten to this. Up until now, it's been very regional, and basically you took 2 teams from the New Orleans, Hammond, Baton Rouge area and got them to the semifinals, and in the rest of the state, you got 2 teams that were able to advance to the semifinals. So, for instance, this year, you've got 3 teams in both of the Final Fours from the New Orleans, North Shore, Baton Rouge area, whereas only 2 of those teams would have gotten here the year before.
Bottom line is the format has been tweaked, it's been improved, and I think that will continue to be the case as time goes on and as this sport continues to grow. We're just about set for the All-State Sugar Bowl LHSAA State Bowling Championships, getting ready to get underway here at All-Star Lanes in Baton Rouge. And just to give you some perspective on this bowling center, by and large, it would be considered a good scoring house. Not a great scoring house, but a good scoring house, which means conditions are favorable for good scores. And, of course, the dynamic will unfold all day, in particular on the boys' side, where you have a number of two-handed players who will definitely affect the oil pattern and therefore change the shot. Now, it should be mentioned also that between the semifinals and finals, they will re-oil the lanes so that the lanes will be reconditioned for the finals after the semifinals, which I think is the right thing to do. So we're underway now. Bowling has started, and we'll keep you posted as we show you what's happening on all of the different pairs. We've got 8 teams bowling right now in the semifinals, and we're underway, and huge contingent you can probably hear in the background from Archbishop Rummel, who bussed quite a few people up here from their school that are here today as well. Really good turnout all around. Great to see South Terrebonne here. Central having both the boys and girls terrific, and basically their hometown participating as well. AOL for the 2nd consecutive year, as we've alluded to before. And just a good showing of people, East Ascension here in their hometown. And Brother Martin obviously back with a tremendous contingent of followers as they have per normal. So underway we are. We'll keep you posted on everything that's happening on each of the pairs. The lineups have been chosen, and in some cases, Lenny, there had to be some selections made by coaches that were tough choices because there are some bowlers that are very close in terms of average.
Yeah, there are, and for instance, with Archbishop Rummel, you had to make the decision on how to line things up based on, they made some tweaks in the lineup over the course of the early rounds and really got hot towards the end, especially in the quarterfinals against Dutchtown when they shot over 3,600 as a team. 36-40 team series finished up with a 13-18 final game. And you do the math on that, that's 6 bowlers. That's almost a 220 average for your 6 bowlers right there. So to give you an idea of exactly what they're going through out there right now in terms of trying to line things up. Now, one of the interesting things that we heard, Mason Leonard, who was the number 3 bowler in Central Lafourche's lineup, is not here today. And so they've had to make some substitutions as a result of that, or slide some guys. But this is a very deep Central Lafourche team. In fact, they are the one team. They've got 7 players qualified for the singles event tomorrow. No one else has more than 6. St. Paul's and Brother Martin each had 6.
Central boys off to a good start with all 7 bowlers having marked thus far, including 5 strikes and a double. So they're off to a good start against Archbishop Rummel in their first game. Again, it's a 3-game format, as Lenny alluded to, with total pins included, and Rummel already has 3 open frames, so good start for Central there. Meanwhile, as we glance over toward the girls' side of things here, you got Central going against South Terrebonne, and looking at what's happening at that point, you've got South Terrebonne off to a good start with all 3 players on their high pair, their better bowlers having struck in the opening frame.
Yeah, one of the things, by the way, that we have to watch for here, we got to not used to maybe in our centers back home, is rather than see a bunch of arrows, they flip the lanes over. So the home team right now started the home team is the higher seed. The home team started game 1 on the right-hand lane, but the scores will change to account for when the teams switch lanes from the right lane to the left lane. Which is something a little different as we're following the scores here inside the center.
Again, match play format, both sides. And, of course, with the evolution of the sport, reactive resin is the ball of choice for these bowlers today. Reactive resin, of course, creates more back-end roll for these bowlers. Some would call it false roll, but it's the technology that has taken over. Interestingly enough, on the highest level, on the professional level, it's really kind of gone backwards. Some players have gone back to using urethane because of the overreaction of the bowling balls.
And you'll see some of that here, especially with the two-handed bowlers. And what urethane does, as opposed to the reactive resin, is urethane can help dry out these lanes even faster too. So that's one of the things you got to keep in mind in this Brother Martin Central Lafourche match, is that you're going to see some of these bowlers with, you're going to see some two-handers for Central Lafourche who are going to affect the lane conditions more so than what the Brother Martin bowlers will do, who are a little more, straighter and not two-handed bowlers.
And right now, Central's got a definitive edge early against Archbishop Rummel in their match. A good start for Central, not a good start for Archbishop Rummel, who has 4 open frames in their first 2 frames amongst their bowlers, 6 bowlers on each pair. We'll get you an update on Brother Martin here coming up shortly. We want to also give a big shout-out to our friends that are watching in New Orleans at Brother Martin High School this morning as well. Great to have you with us, and what a program Bruce Imbert has fostered with the Crusaders. Certainly the team to beat here today, but anything is quite possible. And, of course, the fact that they have great familiarity with this bowling center helps, but that is also true of Central, who bowls here on a regular basis.
Sure, look, and the thing is, especially with these bowlers, you're going to bowl in more than one house. Just as part of your bowling. Maybe your team matches are held somewhere else, but still in all, it's where you bowl. Brother Martin's the home team over in the Brother Martin Central Lafourche match, and they're off to a great start, especially at the top of the lineup. The number 1 bowler, Brennan Brouillette, with 3 strikes to start his match. Looking over on the right-hand pair, you got spare double to start for Hunter Dunn, one of the seniors. And this is a deep Brother Martin team, but it's also an experienced Brother Martin team. They've got 4 seniors, a junior, and a sophomore in their starting lineup. So this is nothing new to them. These are a lot of the same bowlers who won the state championship a year ago, most notably, of course, Cody Schaefer in the anchor position. And Cody up there on lane 8 at this point.
Left a light 8-pin.
Yeah.
So he'll have a rather easy conversion there. The thing about Brother Martin is their depth from 1 through 6. They're such a good team in that respect that their number 1 bowler is capable of shooting 650 anytime he shows up, and their number 6 bowler is capable of shooting 700. The same is true of their number 5 bowler and even the number 4 bowler. That's what has separated them the past few years, is the depth on their team.
No doubt. And you talk about Brennan Brouillette in the number 1 spot. He shot 269 in the second round against Benton. So, he's got the capability of popping a big game. Brandon Bonvillian in a number 2 spot shot a 7-0-4 3-game series in that match against Benton in the second round. Will Ortling in that match in the number 3 spot shot 7-13. So that was almost 2,100 total that they got from their left-hand side in a 39-16 team series in that match, which is about 60 pins off of the state record. So give you an idea of just, what these guys are capable of doing.
Archbishop Rummel settling in a little bit now. They've had 6 consecutive marks after a slow start. And sometimes there is that. You got to get the kinks out. You got to get the nerves out too and get past that, don't you?
And this is new to them. Look, Central hasn't been in the semifinals since 2015. Rummel hasn't been in the semifinals since 2013, the second of those back-to-back state championship teams.
And that figures to be a close match because the average differential is pretty slim.
It is. It's 12-31, 11-67, but where you really look at is those comparative averages. Brother Martin's got a slight edge, but there's no big difference in there in terms of that. Central Lafourche can really match Brother Martin with the depth. Like I mentioned, the 7 individuals who have qualified for singles. It took 21 games of eligibility to be able to do it. So that's one thing that Central Lafourche did, was substitute their bowlers.
No, really, the one I was referencing was how close Central and Rummel are.
Sure,
when
absolutely.
You say Central, we got Central, and we've got Central Lafourche.
Exactly. No, but you're right. Central and Rummel, 1088, 1074 in the starting lineup, and that's and even then, the lower end of Rummel's lineup has really bowled well here late in the year. the two sophomores in the lineup, Andrew Gennaro, Josh Barres, really stepped up in the early rounds. And, they both had career highs in the quarterfinals against Dutchtown. Gennaro, a 6:55 series, Barres, a 7:26. And, they're off to a decent start over on the left-hand pair there, although we just had an open frame from Barres in the number 3 spot.
And we'll try to give you an update on AOL and East Ascension as well. They're to our right, and we will get you some numbers on that one coming up shortly. Also,
check in on that one. We're looking at the scores over there. Now, AOL is the visiting team, is the lower seed. A slight edge right now at the number 6 spot for Hannah Grather, the sophomore from East Ascension, who's one of the top bowlers in the state. In fact, her 189 average ranks tied for 5th in the state. Pretty close right now at number 4. AOL with a slight edge at number 3. So really a pretty even match on the right-hand pair. And then you look at the left-hand pair, and AOL's got a slight edge there right now. Actually, I'll take that back. That's East Ascension with a slight edge. That's one of those things when they keep switching sides there with the scores here. Got to keep an eye on those, the home team and the visiting team.
As we march on with game 1, of course, it's a 3-game format. 6 points to be decided in terms of matches, and then the 2 bonus points for each game before we get to the final decision with the 3 bonus points for total pins overall. The All-State Sugar Bowl LHSAA Bowling State Championship on Crescent City Sports is brought to you by Gibbs Construction, a leader in the construction industry in Louisiana and the Gulf Coast for more than 35 years, transforming dreams, visions, and plans into reality. Gibbs Construction. Ken Trahan, Lenny Van Gilder with you. We'll check in with Kent Lowe here momentarily and get him to go get us an update or two from what's happening with Brother Martin and South Terrebonne, and we'll get him.
Or Central Lafourche,
Central Lafourche, yeah. So we'll get him over there to check that out, and then we'll send him over to give you a real good update on what's happening with AOL against East Ascension as well.
Yeah, looking over as Kent's over there, looking over at 7 and 800 done right now, starting off spare 4-bagger and is now up. He will be up in a moment on lane 7. Cody Schaefer about to bowl on lane 8 as you take a look at things there. Looking right now more at the Rummel Central match, and Rummel, like you mentioned, starting to settle down here a little bit, Ken. Starting to come back to it a little bit, perhaps.
All right, let's check in with Ken Lowe for an update on the match going on to our far left. Central Lafourche, Brother Martin. Kent, take it away.
I talked to Bruce Hemmert this week. He was very concerned about the spare shooting. He said if his team could make spares, they would be in good shape. The strikes would come. You look at the score sheet so far, only 2 opens through the first 5 frames, and I see 2 triples and a 4-bagger up there on the scoreboard. So Central Lafourche making a good move, though. They've got a couple of triples working for them. So right now, as you look at the board, this match is fairly even, but right now it's the 1, 2, and 3 bowlers for Brother Martin that are making the big run for their team, which is to be expected.
All right, that's Kent Lowe from The Advocate. Thank you, Kent, for that update. We'll get an update on AOL coming up as well in their match against East Ascension. So again, I think what Kent just pointed out is what we said earlier. What really makes Brother Martin that tough is their top 3 bowlers, Lenny. We all know the bottom pit, which is the higher average pit, is going to be competitive with all teams because that's your best bowlers. But what makes Brother Martin so good is that their lower pit bowlers, their lower 3 averages, typically are better than anybody they bowl.
And you look at the numbers. Will Ortling in the number 3 spot was 27-4-1 in the regular season this year. Brennan Brouillette in the number 1 spot, 19-5. To give you an idea of just the number of wins they accumulate. They are 15-0 right now. The closest anyone has come against them all year is 20-7. Rummel, who's bowling in the other semifinal, and Jesuit were the only 2 teams to take as many as 7 points off them in a match, both the regular season and the postseason. Their wins in the early rounds were 26-1, 27-0, and 22-5.
Well, the Rummel Central match is interesting. The Rummel lower pit is really dominating, but the Central higher pit is dominating. So it's really one of those flip scripts thus far in that match.
Yeah, and Ben Bardwell off to a great start right now. He has started spare four-bagger on a 2:27 pace right now with a big edge at number 1, and that is helping that left-hand pair for Rummel build up a little bit of a lead right now. As you look at total pins, it's a slight edge to the Raiders at this point. They're up by 55 on the left pit. They're down by 27 in the right pit, so they'd have a 28-pin edge.
Right.
And another strike there as you see it for Bardwell. That's now five in a row. Yep.
So Ben Bardwell, a story early on here in Game 1 amongst the matches that are taking place.
154 average, Ken, and he's got a chance to he's on a 230 pace right now.
Well, that's how they got here. I mean, they bowled their best to get here, winning 3 matches against high seeds.
And improving late. That's the thing. It really stepped up and improved late in the season.
And their 2-spot bowler, their 2-hole bowler, doubles as well.
That's Andy Gennaro with the. Again, he's been one of those that made a big improvement late in the year, and he's a really good number 2, just like Josh Barr is at number 3.
Luke Hightower with a strike. He's a good story. Certainly one of the more accomplished scholar athletes we have here.
We got some good ones, okay? There's no question about that. Luke Hightower for Rummel, a national merit finalist. You look over at the Brother Martin team, Hunter Dunn was a contender to be valedictorian of his class. Is an outstanding student, is an outstanding member of their choral program at Brother Martin. In fact, he's part of the All-State Honor Choir. While everybody else was bowling last month, he was at Carnegie Hall performing. I think where we all aspire maybe to broadcast or cover a game from, whether it's Yankee Stadium or the LA Coliseum, whatever it is, the great venues of sport. When you talk about music and performing, Carnegie Hall is number 1 on the list.
Triple for Michael Williston of Central, and now a 6-bagger for Ben Bardwell of Archbishop Rummel.
He's in control in that match at number 1 right now, Ken, and that's. And you also got to figure, remember, you got the individual match, but you got total pins. Even when you have the match in hand, go get all the pins you can get because of the 9 points that come into account for the game total and the super total. And we're check in on the girls' side of things, and let's get an update on that state championship rematch with Kent Lowe.
Guys, down here on the end, this match between East Ascension and the defending champions from Acadia Academy of Our Lake is very close. The 2-3 bowlers, there's about a 15-pin difference, and the 4-5-6 bowlers are separated by 1 pin early on. Got some good scoring. Both teams look up for the challenge. It looks like Spare's going to be the decider in this match early because there are a lot of holes that have been left early on. Don't know if that's nerves or what, but Spares are going to be key for these 2 teams to advance to the championship. Back to you, Lenny and Ken.
All right, thank you very much, Ken. That's Ken Lowe, the Advocate.
Yeah, and I would say maybe the 3 of us being here, that's rubbing off a little bit with the spare shooting. I've seen Kent shoot spares. I know how I used to shoot 7 pins. You with 10 pins. It could be a struggle at times. So it's
Luke Hightower with a double to take the lead in his match. So we start looking at the individual matches now because they're getting late in the matches. 8th frame and on, you can really tell what's happening in the individual matches. And right now, the real struggle for Rummel is in the 5 spot. They're having a tough time there at this point because it's not just winning matches, but as you mentioned, total pins.
Yeah,
that's really where it's at. And you don't want to have real low scores because it's going to hurt your total pin down the road, and that's a big item.
Right, that's Quinn Cadell in the 5 spot. See over on lane 12 right now on the right of your frame, trying to convert the 5-10 split and did not make it.
Meanwhile, his opponent Williston just rolled a 4-bagger, so he's total command, but also building pins in the process, which is what we spoke of a moment ago.
Williston, early rounds, by the way, that quarterfinal match against Holy Cross had a 298 game at the first 11 strikes, and then an 8-10 on his 12th ball. He just, I think the speed just picked up a little bit on that 12th shot, and he left the 8-10.
17-pin difference between Rummel and Central in the 8th frame right now. Total pins. Rummel with a very slight edge in that. And so that game's going to go down to the wire in terms of total pins. Yeah. And as far as the matches are concerned, Rummel's leading at 1, slight lead at 2, but it's close, and now 2 is really tightened up. And a lead at 3. And then at 4, it's
It's Rummel.
Rummel.
Central at 5, and then it's, let's see, what's the
It's
conversion
Central at
come
6,
here?
yeah.
Well, right now.
Well,
but
at the point when you got a tough spare because of a.
You can see there on the right side of your frame, that's a 3-4-6-7 trying to be converted.
What a shot. He made
up.
it.
That could be big in this match.
That's a
right
huge
there.
cover. That gives them the lead.
Right. Colin Duke in the number 6 spot for Central with a big conversion right there.
Yeah, it's huge to be able to accomplish that. So that match is really going to be close. Central and Rummel, as we mentioned, in terms of averages, probably the closest matchup of all the semifinal matches, and it certainly is stacking up to be that early on thus far.
Yeah, we're getting down to the 10th frame in some of these matches, Ken. We're on the low pairs on both of the boys' matches have now reached the 10th frame. So we'll start to get some scores here and see exactly where we stand. And it appears at this point as if Brother Martin's in good shape at number 1, good shape at number 2, and perhaps at number 3. We'll see where it shakes out, but they may have a chance to sweep the left pit over on lanes 5 and 6.
Ben Bardwell just split in the 9th frame after the 6-bagger for Rummel.
That's the 10th, actually.
10th frame. So 10th frame, yeah. That's your building pins frame, and it's going to be a great game, but it's going to cost him as many as 20 pins.
Right.
In the 10th frame.
He had a chance to go out for 277. The 5-10 split here. If he can convert it, he could still finish in the 250s, but if not, he's looking at a game in the 240s.
Right.
Which is big. I mean, you get that kind of performance out of your number 1 spot. You call it unexpected.
So again, you're looking at the matches themselves, and then you're looking at the total pins as well. It's a combination of the two factoring in to each game as to who wins and by how much and moving forward.
So Bardwell.
There's a big strike for Central.
241 for Bardwell.
And a triple for Central, and that's going to give Central the lead in number 4. Big shot there. So that match is going to be tight as can be.
Mm-hmm.
So a good game by Bardwell, as you mentioned, 241. But at number 2, it looks like Central is.
It's going to be close. This is a big shot coming up on lane 9 for Central. It could decide this match right here.
Chad Sanchez, the sophomore. Sanchez leaves a 4-pin. Good shot.
So he can spare strike for 190.
Right.
Spare would basically make him a winner.
Correct.
As Gennaro converts over on the right-hand lane there, strike for 184. So this is basically it here.
6 pins down, yeah.
Right.
So it's a spare to win, basically.
Spare and count will win the match, or win the match at number 2 for Central.
And he has it for sure. So all he needs to do is throw a 6 count here. 5 count would win, actually. 5 count will win the match for him, providing Gennaro can strike for Rummel. And he throws an 8 count. So really all he needs is 4 pins to win. And if he stays beyond the line, he being Sanchez, then Central will win that match. Central closing strong here.
Checking in over on the Brother Martin Central Lafourche match. Brother Martin has won easily at number 1 and number 2. At number 1, it was that was brilliant, 191 to 167, and then at number 2, Bonvillian an easy winner as well, 234 to 174. So right there, you look at those 2 matches, and that's about an 80-pin edge for the Crusaders, and a big strike.
What a win for Central at number 4.
Wow.
Struck out to win. Rummel missed a spare. Central wins. So this match is going the other way. Central's now starting to really be the team in this first game with the result of these 2 swing matches that just took place. And that's all it takes is 1 frame. You had an open frame for Rummel in the 10th, and the Central bowler struck out. Big change right there. Central finishing very strong here.
And it looks like that Central Lafourche is going to win over at number 3 as Ortling actually converted the split there. And let's see what this is going to do. Now the double on the right lane. So Central Lafourche is going to win at number 3 to at least salvage 1 point off of the left-hand pair. And we've now reached the 10th frame over on the right-hand pair of that match.
So we're looking at 635 to 526 for Rummel on the low pit. So a big edge for Rummel there, but the high pit is certainly the other way.
Right, Rummel winning 2 points there. And let's see how this all plays out here. Well,
Central is looking like they're going to win all 3 points on the high pair.
Yeah, now the key here is this total could come down to this last bowler. We'll get you an update here as to exactly where we are.
It looks like 4-2 Central, and then total pins are going to be close.
It's exactly. So which could be 4-4. So that's 198 for Michael Williston. He will win easily there, 198 to 134. So that is a 66-pin edge in the top two match and a big strike.
Gendron keeps himself alive.
Yeah, exactly. No question about it.
Has to strike again to have any chance.
891. He's got to stay within 23 pins here. Within 23 pins, and Rummel can win total pins.
It's a big shot for number 6, Colin Duke, for Central with a strike up. And he made a perfect shot.
And guess what? It's now a 23-pin match. You've got a shot right here that if both of these bowlers strike out, actually, Duke's going to be in a position, an 8-10.
Central left at 8-10, so Central's in good shape now to win this game.
Exactly. So if he gets one, that's 174. Central would need 197 to tie, 198 to win. So he's going in. He strikes here. He needs a strike to win.
Strike to win, basically.
Yep, on lane 11.
And
he needs a strike to win.
This is a 2-point shot here by Colin Duke.
Right.
Good release, gave it room, but he's high.
So now they're going to lose it. That's a 2-point shot. Yeah, assuming he can get the one.
Gendron goes for the 10-pin and gets it, so it's 174 for Gendron. He got the pin he needed there. This is going to be a 22-pin win for Duke.
Right, and he needed to win by 24 to win total. I believe that's right. We check our
double
math
check it here, which means it's going to be a full 4 game.
89, and
chopped it. So 195.
So Rummel won the right-hand pit by 89. Central won the left-hand pit by 87. So it's a 2-pin match. Rummel finishes with 1136. Central, check that. Yeah, 1136. No, it was 11. Actually, it was easier than that. It was 1114, I believe. Yeah, 1114. So it was not as close as we thought it was.
1136, 1114. Rummel wins total. So that is a tie game. 4 points for Central, 4 points for Rummel in game 1. So right now we're going to check in with Kent Lowe, who's going to update us as they're just about to close down game 1 between Brother Martin and Central Lafourche. Kent, take it away.
All right, we come down here to the last couple of shots in this Brother Martin match. And tell you what, the last bowler who's about to throw now could finish with 258.
For Central Lafourche.
He's a two-hander, and that's what the latest style is. That one's light. But Andrew, their last bowler, shoots 254. Cody's going to have probably 206, but Brother Martin's going to win this one. The pins, the team points, and 4 of the 6 individual points, as they have a big lead in the 1, 2, 3 area. And they're going to pick up about another 40 pins in the 4, 5, 6 area. So Brother Martin will be up about 100 total after the first game and win the 1, 2, 4, and 5 spots. We're losing at 3 and 6, guys.
Yeah, it's going to be
all right, thank you. So 6-2 win for Brother Martin in game 1 over Central Lafourche. And what a game there for Central Lafourche by Andrew Levron, who is one of the top bowlers in the state, Lenny. As we talked about earlier, he's been outstanding all year long, averaging 215, and the two-hander certainly looked the part in game 1, highest game we've seen thus far. We'll get an update on AOL and East Ascension coming up as well.
Talk about consistency. Brother Martin, 617 on the left pit, 618 on the right pit for 1235. Central Lafourche finishes at 1116. So Brother Martin with a 6-2 lead, and they're up 120 in totals. Now let's check in on the girls' side and what's going on here.
This is Central and South Terrebonne.
All right, we're actually, we'll check in on that. We're actually looking in right now at the AOL East Ascension.
Okay, we're checking AOL East Ascension.
Yeah, and it's AOL with a win at 4. An easy win at 4, in fact. That is at the number 4 spot. Lauren Hartzell with a 166, winning to 107.
They're winning at the 5 spot as well.
That was Brittany Estes at the 4 spot for East Ascension. Over at number 5, convincing win.
177 to 135.
Yep.
Number 6 is going to come down to the 10th frame. Need a mark.
We'll stay on that to watch what happens here. So
AOL needs a mark.
Right, Danielle Poussard in the number 6 spot. She's the veteran on this team, the most experienced bowler, and we'll get a look at her coming up now on lane believe that's lane 19.
Left the 10 pin.
No, yeah, she left the 10.
Left the 10 is going to have to make it to win the match. So, tough one there. And then we look at the low pit right now. And AOL is up in number 1, down in number 2, and down in number 3. So, that's looking like a 6-2 match in game 1.
And a really good start.
And she missed the spare. So she missed the 10 pin. So AOL loses. And a victory there for East Ascension at number 6.
168, 162.
Correct.
The score is Hannah Grather wins there. But it's AOL still, in spite of that, in very good shape. As they're in the 9th frame right now on the left-hand pit. And then over, as we move over to the match 17 and 18, they're closing that out. And that's a big strike right there in the number 6 spot for Cameron Fitch from South Terrebonne, who's going to finish in the 2 teens and get a big win for her team in the number 6 spot. They're going to win 2 of 3 games on the left-hand pit and actually take a little bit of an edge in total.
Looks like a 5-3 win for AOL now. Their margin got reduced by that missed 10 pin. They're going to lose a couple of matches on the low pair, but they'll win total. So they'll be a 5-3 after 1 game. And again, South Terrebonne and Central.
Right. It's looks like it's a convincing win. And you look at the left-hand pair, convincing win at number 1 for Central. They'll get that one without a problem. 144. It's very tight at number 2 right now. We got a split here, a chance for a conversion perhaps, and on lane 15 got a chance for a conversion and possibly a win right here coming up for the number 2 bowler for South Terrebonne. That's Elisa Senac. And then number 3 is really, how about that for tight? Number 3 is 121 all, both on an open going into the last frame. Yeah, so it's really coming down to the 10th frame.
Really
big
is.
Conversion for Senac.
Good shot.
That gives them a chance to win this point right here.
Yep. That's a big spare.
Good match at number 6 in this particular match. It was 213 to 195 in favor of Cameron Fitch, the senior, over Elena Coward, the senior who from Central, 195. She signed earlier this week with Southern University.
Yep. Yeah, this has the makings of a 3-3 tie with total pins to be decided. Although it could flip, these last 2 bowlers could flip in a heartbeat here. That's a big spare, though, as you mentioned. And now she's up in the 11th frame and going to throw a 7 count for 109.
109, so here you go. Now we got a bit of a delay on lane 16 with the sweeper down right now. We're going to wait and get that situation resolved. But now the situation is very simple for Magnolia Lee, the sophomore from Central. She's got to make this baby split 5-6 to be able to win the match.
Yeah, Bailey Lajeunesse with a big spare for South Terrebonne. And it will come down to Cameron Fitch and what she can do for South Terrebonne against the Central's 6th player as well. I'm sorry, the number 3 bowler, Logan Lorette, in the 3 spot. So Lorette, here's the spare attempt, and that is not going to get there. So that's a big win at the number 2 spot for South Terrebonne and Alyssa Senac. So 109 to 106.
So let's take a look at where total stands right now. It looks like with that big edge at number 1 that no matter what happens here, Central is in command for total pins at this point. They've got an edge of, it looks like 32 pins going into these last bowlers.
And Brooklyn left a 10 pin. Not an easy spare, as we all know with corner pins in this sport. And pretty good looking shot here. Leaves the 4-7. So cross lane spares for both 6 bowlers to really decide this match. Destiny Sheldon is going to miss. That'll leave her at 130, so now an opportunity for Logan Lorette to win the match if she can spare.
Right, can go any way here. You miss it
she
completely,
can miss them both and lose.
Miss them both and lose, get 1 and tie, and perhaps make the spare and win the match. It's all down to this.
So let's see what Logan can do. She'll go cross lane. That's a good-looking shot. She is going to win the match. As soon as she released it, right on target, very cool. exhibits a smile. You love seeing that.
And that's what we talk about. That's 2 matches right there decided in the 10th frame that swung 2 points. This had a chance to be a 6-2 match for Central. Now it's looking like it's going to be a 4-4 match.
Right. As both of these swing matches turn the way of South Terrebonne. So the Gators with a big finish here. Filled boxes when they needed to in the 10th frame, and she'll just get count here. Throwing at the head pin, picking up 9 and shooting 140 to win by 10. So good finish there for South Terrebonne.
Yeah, right at her average, in fact. 140
exactly.
is their season average.
Puts them right back in business as a result. So good first games. So it looks like a 4-4 game. So we've had a couple of 4-4s, one on the girls' side, one on the boys' side. Good matches stacking up early. A 5-3 win for AOL and a 6-2 win for Brother Martin. Rummel and Central 4-4
we got
on the boys' side, and then South Terrebonne and Central. It looks like a 4-4 game. We'll go ahead and
we're going
make
to
sure
see
we clarify that.
Yeah, we're going to see double check here the scores. They are now finished on the other pair. Let's confirm the totals there. That indeed was 3 matches, 1 each way. Let's see where total landed there. A 68-pin edge on one pair.
Yep.
But a 95-pin edge for AOL on the other pair. So AOL does win total and leads that match
5-3.
5-3.
Yeah, as I mentioned. So again, 5-3 AOL through 1. Looks like Central and South Terrebonne are tied 4-4 after 1. Rummel and Central tied 4-4 after 1, and Brother Martin up 6-2 over Central Lafourche after 1. A lot of strikes being thrown in the Central Rummel match here.
Yeah, we'll switch back over to the boys' side now that they get ready to bowl game 2 here, and as we update our scoreboard here, we'll get you.
Let's go ahead and get Kent to give us an update. He watched the end of the AOL match with East Ascension, the AOL match that took place over there with EA. Kent, tell us about what you saw.
Well, the defenders are up 5-3. They about 25 pins total. Had a big advantage for AOL in the 4, 5, and 6 spots. Could have won a 6 point, but both bowlers in the 6th spot missed spares, and so it ends up 3-3, and very tight match so far between EA and AOL. Good match, as we expected, with a rematch of last year's state championship.
EA and AOL, it's easy for you to say.
Right.
27, EIEIO, 80. 27 pins the difference right now in that one. 22 pins the difference in the South Terrebonne Central match. 22 pins the difference in the Rummel Central match. Give you an idea where those total pins lie. The edge right now lies with Brother Martin, 110 pins on top in the match with Central Lafourche, 12-35 to 11-25.
What a difference a game makes. Quinn Cadella, who struggled in game 1, has got 4 strikes and 5 frames.
You know,
for Rummel in game 2.
What was interesting, he did that in the second round match against St. Paul's as well. He was scuffling a bit early on, and then all of a sudden, I think it was in the 3rd game when they really needed to have it. Remember that Rummel-St. Paul's match was 8-8 after 2, and the total pins were 6 pins different. So basically, whoever won total pins for the 3rd game was going to win the match almost certainly. And he came out and fired a big 3rd game in that match, and really was one of the ones that helped turn the tide there. And then he went out and shot a 599 series in the quarterfinals against Dutchtown. So that really kind of jump-started the second half of his day.
Stringing strikes together will get you the high score, obviously, but the separator, when you get to this level, most often, as was alluded to earlier, is spares. Who can convert spares at a higher rate? Because filling boxes is what it's all about to be able to keep yourself alive. Look, a guy can double, but if you spare, you keep yourself right there, just 10 pins behind, getting into the next frame. You just want to move it forward, fill boxes, and that's always so important when it comes to this particular sport. We're in game 2, All-State Sugar Bowl, LHSAA State Bowling Championships. I'm Ken Trahan with Lenny Van Gilder of CrescentCitySports.com. Kent Lowe of The Advocate along for the ride. Glad to have him with us as well. And of course, Lenny, we got a very good crew here today doing business for us as well.
Yeah, our thanks to the guys working behind the scenes for us. We've got Glenn Riebert, we've got Adam Bryant, we've got Peter Marshall, helping bring it all to you. So it's no doubt about it. It's we've got among the best here working with us and helping bring. This is a large production. I mean, you got to cover what's going on across 20 lanes at this point. It's there's a lot to make happen here and a lot of work that's going on behind the scenes.
And it's great to see the support here today as well. Look, some of these schools had to travel to get here. EA and Central had obviously the shortest trips to be here, but others had to travel, and the weather has been just dreadful today all over South Louisiana. So to see the kind of attendance we have here today, I think speaks volumes about the level of support for the sport and, of course, the level of support for the kids from their schools and from their families. And I think this is a sport, Lenny, that's only going to continue to grow.
No doubt. And Rick Bourgeois mentioned as he was making the introductions that participation, I think last year it reached over 1,000. This year it reached over 1,300. What they did to change the format in the last 2 years with a separate singles event, away from the team event, with with now seating in place through PowerPoints, is only making this sport bigger and better.
Second game reaching the halfway mark, slightly beyond in a couple of these matches. And by and large, it's a normal occurrence when the boys are a little bit ahead of the girls.
They're going to throw more strikes. Sure,
right.
That's going to happen, and the boys' matches are going to finish ahead of the girls' matches, which actually helps a little bit, allows us a little bit of a stagger in terms of the finishes and covering that. You see the team scores now on your screen there on the left-hand side. So it's you see where we stand through one game, and everything is everything's very tight at this point. Nothing is decided by any means, and we expected as much. We expected some very competitive matches in here, and this is a big spot here as you get to the end of game two, because this can really dictate how game three shakes out.
Right.
Because
well, the match that's furthest along is Central and Rummel. They've already hit the 7th frame and into the 8th frame of their match in game two on one pair and into the 7th frame on the other pair. So that one looks like the one that's going to be the one finishing quickest here in terms of game two. So we can give you a pretty good update on that.
And we take a pan over as well and take a look at lanes 5 through 8 at this point and see what's happening inside that Brother Martin Central Lafourche match. Andrew Leveron of Central Lafourche has the first 5 strikes in game two. And Cody Schaefer's got a couple of opens, so he's dug himself a little bit of a hole here, but plenty of time to go in that one. Hunter Dunn continuing to bowl well for the Crusaders. He is started off spare, 4-bagger spare. He's got 129 in the 5th with a spare up at this point. So a good start there, and a good start as well on the low pair for Brother Martin as well. That's really where they separated themselves in the opening game with that 100-pin edge in what happened on the left-hand pair with their, with the junior Brennan Brouillette and the seniors Brandon Bonvillian and Will Ortling. Really getting it done there to help stretch that thing. And look, we've talked about it. This is a sport where depth really provides you an advantage, and that's something you see with Brother Martin. For that matter, it's something you see with Central Lafourche, and the reason they're where they are, and it's an advantage for AOL as well.
A big miss spare here in the Rummel Central match, which will turn one match the other way. Once again, that match is really tight. And it's really tight again in game two. As we approach the 8th frame, we can update you on every one of the individual matches. Again, I mentioned spares, and that is undoubtedly where the separation occurs ultimately. Fill the boxes, and you're going to be successful. And the counter to the spare miss, of course, is a strike. And right now you're looking at, as we get to looking at this Central Rummel matchup, we've got, match number 1, Rummel's got an edge. Match 2, Rummel's a slight edge. Match 3, Rummel's a slight edge as well. But those could go either way. Mm-hmm. Looking at match 4, it's about even. Match 5, an edge for Rummel. Match 6, an edge for Central. So right now that would be 4-2 Rummel if it held, but that's a long way to go.
Right. Looking over at the Brother Martin Central Lafourche match, it's a slight edge for Brother Martin right now at number 1. At number 2 as well, it's basically about dead even right now, in fact. And then at number 3, it's a 3-pin edge for Central Lafourche. on number 4, 5, and 6 as they switch sides of the screen here. Hunter Dunn, we mentioned, with that advantage right now at number 4 for Brother Martin. The Crusaders have taken an edge at number 5, and then it's Central Lafourche with the lead at 6. So Brother Martin with the edge at 4 of those 6 matches right now. If they were to win total, you see that 6-2 score up there, that would be 12-4. That's a big number to overcome, especially with an edge in total pins. Because remember,
very much so.
Yeah, you're getting perhaps the 3 for total pins there, and that could be enough to put you over the top.
Here's the thing to look at that the Central Rummel match. They go to the 9th frame, but Central has a bunch of strikes up. They got all strikes up in the 8th frame on the high pair, so they have a chance to make a big run here. They can get something done. The first shot doesn't work out well. It's a split for them, and that's going to swing that match a bit and make that much tighter as a result.
Yeah, it is. That was a nice lead for Central, and then a strike for Rummel in the 9th frame by Luke Hightower, and then the Greek Church there on lane 11, left by the number 4 bowler for Central. That's Bo Villarreal.
And he missed them all.
On a strike, no less. So that's 6 pins that you just let get away right there.
Rummel takes the lead in the match.
Exactly. That's a big swing right there and count.
So Rummel's up in all 3 matches on the high pair now. Just like that, if they can convert spares, they're going to be in good shape. Quinn Cadella just spared. He's had a very good game here in game 2.
Right. They're a little bit ahead of the match over on the far end, so we'll swing the action back over to lanes 9 through 12, and focus on what's closing out here, particularly on 11 and 12 that is now coming up to getting ready to begin the 10th frame over here. So that's big. That's a very big shot. A big shot coming up here for Gendron.
And a strike for Ruben Gendron. So he's got an 11-pin edge, 12-pin edge.
Right. And this is a big shot
here. It's a big shot on a strike.
Yep.
This is huge.
Colin Duke with a chance to perhaps make this a 2-pin match as he's on a strike and crosses over. Yep.
Sometimes you need to be lucky, and he was there, but it counts. Yep. And now that's a 2-pin match. Both are on strikes. Going to the 10th frame. Once again, Rummel Central's a good match. We knew it would be, Lenny.
Yeah.
Looked like it was going to be the best match going into the semifinals.
In terms of competitiveness, yes, certainly. Obviously, a lot of focus on that Brother Martin Central Lafourche match, and those 2 teams. And look, whoever wins the Brother Martin Central Lafourche match, at least on paper, you think has a little bit of an edge. But as we know, things are not always decided on paper. It's going to be interesting what kind of momentum you can carry out of this match. You get a little bit of a break. They're going to rerun the lanes between the semis and the finals. And the boys will move over to the right-hand side. A big shot
for Hightower.
Luke Hightower there to double up there and take a 13-pin lead. And now that's it.
Yeah, Luke
that's
Hightower
it. All he needs to do is basically stay behind the foul line, keep it in play here, and he's going to win this match at number 4. And that's a big, big turnaround right there.
Yeah, because 2 frames ago he was down 20 pins plus, and he ends up winning the match. So that's huge for the spare, and got it. Again, pins matter. That's why even though you lose the match, get the pins.
And that's 192 right there.
Hightower, good shot, and he leaves a 9-pin.
But it's enough to win the match. Spare for 204 against a 192. He lost. Remember, he lost late. So this is kind of, a little bit of countering what happened in game 1. Yeah, that was a late rally by Villarreal. And now a split over on lane 12, and that's going to just about clinch the match at 5 for Quinn Cadella. In fact, there is no way he can win now.
Bardwell a missed spare, so now that's a 5-pin match in the 1 spot, and a missed spare here by Hightower, but it's a 1-pin.
Yeah, that was a fill ball situation. Yeah, so 203 for Luke Hightower. He wins at 203, 192, and stepping up again as he has really done here late in the season. As Andy Gennaro at number 2.
Yeah, he's got a triple now. He's got the 2s.
Yeah, he's got a chance for 246 if he can strike out.
And a missed spare against him, so that's a big swing of pins as we speak. Here's Quinn Cadella on lane 11. Way wide.
Oh, wide.
Yeah, he's had a really good game, but that's going to cost him pins.
Yep. Pin count, but he's got the match in hand. Now here's a big shot coming up on lane 12 as Colin Duke.
This is huge. This match in the balance. Good shot. Left the 10-pin. Made a very good shot.
So this is right now, 3 pins difference in this game.
And Cadella will end up with 8 out for a 210. Good game by Quinn Cadella.
Way to bounce back. Had a 134 in the opening game, bounces back with a 210 to a 177 for Williston. So a 10-pin conversion coming up here on lane 12.
And nice shot.
Converted there by Duke, and he needs a strike for 193 here.
Well, he's forcing a mark by Gendron here.
Right.
Basically, Gendron must mark to win and throw a good count. And he's going to be leaving 10-pin. Same thing, so it comes down to making a 10-pin to win the game. Or win the match, I should say.
And what's interesting there is if he can do that, Central won all three on the right-hand pair in game one. Rummel's got a chance to sweep the right-hand pair here in game two.
And here's a good count ball, perfect count. So Gendron must spare.
And
good shot.
Yep.
He'll need an 8 count to win now.
We'll keep it in play right here. You just got to.
He needs an 8 count. More than keep it in play. He's got to get an 8 count to win. And that's a big match because Central needs a win in a match right now. It's conceivable they could lose every match.
As you look over at the left-hand pair, you're right. Rummel is up.
Barwell spared.
This is a big shot here on lane 10.
Shot to win the match on lane 10.
That's wide.
And that's why out the window. So Barwell just needs a count here.
Yeah, six will win it.
6 count. And here's Gendron needs 8 to win right here for Rummel.
Oh, that's on lane 11.
And he's wide. And he got 8. Wow.
He got 8 to win by a pin. Wow.
Wins by 1. That's a huge win for Rummel. And now Bardwell hit the head pin, and that's all you needed to do, basically. So good job by Bardwell. Rummel wins the close matches, and that's going to be a real separator in this match between these two. Lenny.
I mean, look, this is
this could be 12-4.
What we're seeing right now, this match could effectively be over, Ken.
Well, this could be 12-4 Rummel, the way it's looking. Gennaro for Rummel, who's bowled really well. Strikes again.
Strike. Got a chance to finish with 246. Yeah. His season best in the regular season, Ken, was 237. He had games of 211, 235, and 239 in the early rounds. So to give you an idea just how much he has improved down the stretch.
Just been terrific. I mean, you talk about performing at your best at the right time. He's done that.
Through the nose, left the 10 pin, so a chance to make the spare for 235.
Not just winning, but picking up pins in the process with that 4-bagger he threw and then an open frame, so the pins increase even more the way of Rummel. Things going well for the Raiders here. And he made the 10 pins, and that's a really good 235 game for Andrew Gennaro of Archbishop Rummel.
And we'll check in on what's going on now down. This one's about to wrap up. Let's check in on what's going on in terms of Brother Martin Central Lafourche right now. Hunter Dunn just finished with a 4-count split on the fill ball, 251. That's something different. You don't see.
That's weird.
Coming off a 212, he shoots 251 against a 177 for Aaron Barrios in game 2. Brother Martin in position to win at 4 and win at 5. Cody Schaefer has rallied back here, at least to make this a competitive game and close in total pins. Andrew Leveron just needs to get up and stay behind the foul line.
Well, that's what Josh Barras needs to do for Rummel, as he and his coach are talking it over right now about what they need to do to win the match.
Right, a double for Central now is at least gotten that score into the 140s, but he just needs to keep it in play right now, basically.
And 147, so now Barras just needs to keep it on the lane here, and he does. So not only that, he struck. So that's a really good game by Rummel as a team. This is what they've done late in the season. And why I say that is that they've got 3 200 games, but they're not going to have any low games, any bad games. Their worst game is going to be 168.
Right.
And that's how you win. Depth up and down. And that's what they've been doing. It's a team that's gotten hot at the right time, right?
Yep. Drew Gardner with an open in the 10th for Brother Martin. He wins, though, 200 to 177. And there's Barras again now with a strike. That's going to make it in the 180s, and that's going to be 12-4 now for Rummel going into game 3.
Let's check in with Kent Lowe on Brother Martin and Central Lafourche. Kent?
We got some very close matches down here. Brennan Brouillet just missed a 10-pin in the 10th frame, and he ends it up losing that match as Central Lafourche bowler in the 1 position wins it 193, 191. They both missed single pins in the 10th frame. In the 2nd spot, we've got almost a chance for a tie. Second bowler for Brother Martin would have had to strike out So that's 2 wins now for Central Lafourche in this match. Brother Martin has won the 4 and the 5 spots, and we move to the 6 spots where we've got some big scores at the moment. As Andrew Leveron, their third bowler, is going to shoot 240-something. Cody has a chance. Cody Schaefer for Brother Martin has a chance to go out for about 6 or 7 in a row here.
Yeah, I think it's 227.
But I don't think that's going to be enough to win the game for him.
It will not.
There's a big shot coming up
over.
It
appears that Brother Martin may have enough if Cody strikes here to possibly get the team point as a messenger comes off the wall and doesn't take out the 10-pin. But this is pretty close in the second game, guys.
Central Lafourche bowling well.
Yeah, they've come back here and finishing up, I believe, with they've got a chance now to finish in about the 12, let's see here, or 1180s, I should say, team total-wise. 6:02 on that right-hand pit. They've
One
got
more shot here for the third bowler for Central Lafourche, Dalton Hirsch. He gets 7, finishes 192. Will's got a chance here. Will Ortling for Brother Martin, but he splits. Let's see what it gives him. That's 193 in the ninth, so that'll be a point for Brother Martin on that one. Let's see, in the 1, 2, 3 spots, it's going to be 580 for Central Lafourche. Let's see what the count does to the final total on the 1, 2, 3 for Brother Martin. He finishes with 212, and they finish with 566. So a 14-pin advantage for Central Lafourche in the 1, 2, 3 spots. But Brother Martin has a 65-pin advantage in the 4, 5, 6 slots, guys.
Looks like a 5-3 game, and it'll be an 11-5 edge for Brother Martin going into Game 3. And Ken, look,
not over yet.
No, it's not over yet. It's an advantage, certainly. Right. And, I mean, you're winning. They were up 110 in total, and they're going to win this by about 50, it looks like.
Yep. Looks like Rummel may have
65 and 14.
Looks like Rummel may have made a change or two in their lineup.
We'll check it and see here and see exactly what they did. We'll check that out. But, again, it's going to be 11-5, Brother Martin heading into the last game. It's going to be 12-4 Rummel heading into the last game, perhaps getting some.
So the two New Orleans area teams leading on the boys' side after 2 games. Archbishop Rummel out of Metairie, 12-4 over Central, and Brother Martin out of New Orleans, 11-5 over Central Lafourche. And on the girls' side, we'll turn our attention to that as their matches start to get deeper now. They're into the 8th frame, so let's take a look and try to situate ourselves and figure out what's happening here between Central and South Terrebonne. They were tied 4-4 after 1 match. So let's take a look at match 2 here, what's happening.
You look at total pins is the easiest thing to do. It's a big edge for Central on the left-hand pit, but it's pretty even on the right side. So, again, and the matches look pretty well dispersed as well. So it's this is going to be close again.
It will be. 4-4 going into this particular matchup. Good strike here for South Terrebonne. Very important. When you look at total pins, there's bonus points involved there. So you need to be able to accumulate as many as you can. That's why we talk all the time about filling boxes and making spares. It's critical. You don't want to put yourself in position to miss spares and lose pin count in the process. So very important to look at that and see where you're at with regard to these particular matches. We'll get an update on AOL and East Ascension as well, as AOL have 5-3 lead going into Game 2 in that one, defending their state championship, both defending state champions here today. Brother Martin on the boys' side, AOL Academy of Our Lady on the girls' side, and we'll get Kent position to go figure out what we can on that match as we focus in on Central and South Terrebonne here.
We got a new toy here, Ken. Okay. Thanks to our friends at All Star Lanes. We now have a tablet that has all of the scores on it that we could just scroll through here. AOL with a big edge at number 4 right now. Really good performance underway by their number 4 bowler. That is Lauren Hartzell, who started this game spare 5-bagger and is into the 220s right now at this point with a big edge. They're up at 5. 6 is very close right now between the anchor bowlers, Hannah Grather from East Ascension, Danielle Poussard from Academy of Our Lady. So that is a terrific match going on there right now. But AOL with big edges right now at 4 and 5, so much so that might be enough to clinch total for them just winning those 2 alone. That's the difference in those matches.
And Central and South Terrebonne right now, Central's up in 3 matches, South Terrebonne's up in 3 matches. Again, this is another one of those matches that has put itself in position to be that tight. So that's what we're looking at right now. And again, total pins are certainly mattering there, and there is an edge on the total pins end of things for Central right now.
And just so you know, if you're just tuning in, let's update you on the boys' team scores through 2 games. We'll update everything on the graphic as soon as this girls' second game is over. But it's Brother Martin with an 11-5 edge over Central Lafourche. It's Rummel with a 12-4 edge over the number 1 seed Central. And if that holds, you're looking at an All-New Orleans area final, which is something we haven't seen in a while. In fact,
well, Rummel's got a pretty good total pins edge right now.
Exactly.
So
they really
Central would have to have a big third game to prevent Rummel from winning. They'd have to win at least 5 matches, if not all 6, and they'd have to win total pins significantly. So
5 matches, total pins, and flip the super total as well. That's the formula to be able to win.
No doubt. That's a rarity there. The 4 bowler for Central had a gutter ball in his first shot in the 3rd frame, and then he spared in the second frame, in the second shot of the 3rd frame. You don't see that very often.
So as we start winding down here, we've reached the 10th frame over on lanes 21 and 22.
We're going to check in with
21 and 22. The far right-hand pair has reached the 10th frame here, and it's, again, an edge at 4 and 5 for Academy of Our Lady, but it's very tight at number 6 right now, just an 18-pin edge and still in the balance right now. And Hartzell could not convert there, so she will finish with an outstanding 2-12 game.
So safe to say that a little bit more compelling on the girls' side right now in these semifinal matches.
At least at this point, certainly. And we'll continue to bounce back with the boys' coverage here, and let's go ahead and check in with Kent Lowe for an update on that state championship rematch.
Well, this match down here on the end with Academy of Our Lady and East Ascension has turned a bit here in favor of AOL. They've got the potential right now, guys, to take 7 of 8 points. Probably EA win in the last position, but right now it's looking very good for AOL heading back to another championship match.
And again,
all right, Ken, thank you.
And as you see on the screen, they have a 5-3 lead at this point. So if they do win 7 of 8, that's 12-4 going into the last game. And depending on the total pins, and remember, they're going to have a big total pin edge with wins at number 4 and number 5. That would give them a big advantage as Lindsay Bladsacker at number 5 converts that spare. She's got a chance to strike in the fill ball for 183. It's a possible 136 for her opponent. That's a Shea Duplessis bowling at number 5.
Miss spare there by...
That was Liz Babcock at number 2.
Well, again, spares huge. Always
and 9 on the fill ball for Bladsacker. 182 is her final.
Nice game. So they win at 4, they win at 5.
And look, as you looked at this going in, Ken, you look at averages for the season. AOL had the edge at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and East Ascension had the edge at number 6.
Yep,
and that's Grather with the strike in the 10th,
stroke.
And that may have pretty much
that
pretty much closes it out at that point.
She's got it. She needs
Danielle
3 pins.
Poussard on lane 21.
That's over.
Misses the head pin left, but she had
a
she could have struck out for 189, and possibly if there was an open in the 10th, would have had a chance to come back and steal that one.
So that's a win for EA. So that's a 2-1 pit, 2-1, 2 victories for AOL, 1 for East Ascension on the high average pit. And then we'll update you on the low average pit here momentarily.
I got a chance to finish at 197 right now, and Poussard cannot convert. She'll finish with a 164 game here in game 2.
AOL winning 2 of the 3 matches for sure in the low pit, and maybe winning the 3rd match depending on what happens in the 2 spot, which is close. So they're definitely going to win the points in that game. There's no question about that in game 2.
And they're up by 70
total pins.
With the total on the right hand.
So this will be a 6-2 or a 7-1 game for AOL. That's what we're talking about right now. That's pretty certain. And there is a difference between 6 and 7. You get to 7, you're up 12-4. That's huge. Tough to overcome.
11-5 is a little bit more doable.
Yes.
And especially, look, in the first game, I mean, the total pin spread in this one was only 27 after game 1.
South Terrebonne, good spare here. Tough conversion in the 2 spot for South Terrebonne by Alyssa Cenac.
Right, we check in on the action of 15 through 18, and now in 17 and 18, they have reached the 10th frame over there.
And
another good game right
200
there.
game for Central.
Yeah,
in the 4 spot, that's Destiny Gautreaux.
She had a 210 in game 1, now a 200 in game 2, so she's been big today.
Destiny Gautreaux has emerged as a star here today. Levron, of course, for Central Lafourche, much the same.
He's got over 500 through the first 2, 254, 248.
Pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Good spare for Central here. And, of course, the response from the fans, good turnout as mentioned for all schools, and nice spare for South Terrebonne here. Again, making spares even more important on the girls' side because they don't strike as often as the boys do.
Right.
So down to the last frame and a half here for the lower pit bowlers for AOL and East Ascension.
Yeah, Central won that point at 4, but South Terrebonne winning at 5 and 6, Ken, and then really that they're going to win total pins on that right-hand pair. And Central is in the process of trying to make it up on the left-hand pair. We're going to see how it plays out because it's going to be very close again in total pins.
Looks good for AOL to win all 3 matches on the low pit here. There's only 1 match still to be decided, but AOL has the edge in that. There's a nice strike delivered here. No, I actually left the 7-pin, pardon me. Perfect shot and a tough break, leaving the 7-pin in the 3 spot for AOL. Abby Radovich, the senior, made a really good pitch. But again, AOL in good shape to win all 3 matches on the low pit. Looking more and more like a 7-1 game for AOL.
Could be. They're in command at 4, at number 1. They're 17 pins up at 2 and well in command at 3.
2 is the only match. 2 is the only match that's still to be decided.
Right. So we'll see how that one plays out there with how the 10th frame plays out for AOL. But you're right. If it gets to 7-1 and that's 12-4, you're feeling like you're in pretty good shape. And that's got a chance. Looking at total pins there, it's a 108 pin edge going into the 10th frame there, as opposed to, what did we say, 70 on the right-hand pair. So that's a big jump now. All of a sudden, you go from like a 20-pin match to a 200-pin match. That AOL will have the edge.
No doubt. So all to be decided there is the 2 spot and a big edge to AOL right now. It'd be very hard to lose that match, but it could happen. Not definitive yet as we watch the end of that match. And now here again, Central and South Terrebonne. We have another gutter ball thrown here.
Right, but another tight match here but South Terrebonne won 2 of the 3 on the right-hand pair of lanes and has a 15-pin edge in total as we get to the left-hand pair. The anchor position, that was Cameron Fitch winning again over Elena Coward, 190 to 175. Central was able to close a little bit of that gap on the final bowler there.
This is a good pitch here. Oh, boy, hooked on her. You start to see the lanes break down a little bit here by game 2.
Mm-hmm.
And again, they'll oil the lanes again between the semis and the finals. So they'll recondition the lanes, make it fair. All right, we're in the 2 spot now for East Ascension. 7 count for AOL on the 2 spot and looks like a 9 count here. So that match is over. So AOL has won that match. So they're going to sweep that pair. So it's going to be a 7-1 victory for AOL, which is going to put them up 12-4 after 2 games. Not insurmountable, but very, very commanding lead for AOL after 2 games.
We'll see
defending their state championship. Well on their way, it appears, to being in a championship match.
And who will it be? That's still to be decided. This is going to end up, it appears, a 5-3 match in favor of Central, which is going to make it 9-7 going to the last game. And that's definitely still in the balance.
9-7 Central over South Terrebonne. That is the closest match of the 4 taking place right now.
Let this officially go final. Double check our numbers here. Central with a big edge in total pins on the left-hand pair, which made up for the 15-pin edge that South Terrebonne had on the right-hand pair.
It looks like Leveron off to a slow start this game for Central Lafourche, and they need him big. He's at 51 in the 4th frame, and he needs to shoot big for them to have a chance to come back in that match against Brother Martin. So right now, both defending state champions, Lenny, looking pretty good to reach the finals again.
No doubt, no doubt. And look, that's where you want to be in this situation. Ideally, you've clinched, but and
with regard to Rummel, they just need 2 points to win their match, which means if they can win 2 matches going on, it's over. Or if they can win a match, or even no matches and keep it close enough.
You keep everything close enough.
Their total pin edge was pretty significant.
Yeah, it was up. We've got to double check our scores here as we were jumping around from side to side.
Sure.
But it's pretty substantial out there. It's probably in the 200 pin area.
Right. So again, for Rummel, the task is just filling boxes, moving the line along, as we say in baseball. Central needs to shoot big on the boys' side to have a chance to come back and win. Rummel did make a lineup change, it appears, and
try to figure out exactly how that played out. We'll get see if we can get an update on exactly what happened there. But you're shuffling some things around, giving some folks a chance here, and
Cody Schaefer with a triple now for Brother Martin. He's started slowly, but it looks like he's found his line. He closed game 2 very, very strong, and now he's got it figured out. Looking good. That's a double for Quinn Cadella to tighten his match as he's behind.
Yeah,
Central bowling a lot better in this game, up in the first 2.
Williston in a 5-hole hit the first 5 strikes before a couple of errant shots. And he's got a big lead there at 5.
Sure does.
Looking down at at 5 and 6, some good scores being bowled, and Brennan Brouillette is off to a very good.
There's one of the weirdest strikes you'll ever see for Central just now. Missed the head pin completely and got a wall pin to come back and take out 3 pins in the process for a strike. So Central keeping themselves alive in this match.
And look at the number 1 spot for Brother Martin. That's Brennan Brouillette at number 1. Double open 5-bagger. A chance to strike out. He's in the 8th frame. Chance to strike out for 265.
Again, that's what makes them such a good team. Their low-end pit is always outstanding. Luke Hightower with a nice strike for Rummel as he leads in his match. And Rummel doing a good job of filling boxes. That's all they need to do pretty much the rest of the way.
Just don't let it get away. Rummel, like you said, up at 4. And obviously 2 individual wins would do it as well. They've got a commanding lead at 4. Looking to see what's going on in the match on the left side. They got a nice lead at 3 right now. So those 2 wins would do it.
Yeah, they're down in 1 and 2. Central's up in 4 matches right now. Bowling well in game 3. They need to. But Rummel's not far behind in any of the matches they trail in right now.
Gendron with all three bowlers on the right-hand pair with strikes in the foundation frame.
Right.
Which is
Central has 2. For the 10th. Central has 2 in the foundation frame.
But a 4-pin leave here. Now Gendron has assured himself of having the lead going into the 10th frame. And basically a chance if he strikes, he wins his match. It's that simple.
Right. As mentioned, Rummel just needs 2 matches. Just need to win 2 matches to advance to the state championship match. Cody Schaefer with a split. So his run ends. And meanwhile, Levron back on a double to tighten that matchup for Central Lafourche against Brother Martin.
Hunter Dunn bounces back with a strike in the 7th frame after a split in the 6th. He's got 91 through 6.
Hightower left the 8-10.
He's still going to win that match, though, I believe. I think that's over.
10-pin left.
And at
158.
158 will
so he'll still win that match. So that's 1 point for Rummel.
Yeah.
They get one more, they advance. So Hightower's going to finish in the 180s here. Solid game. And
181.
181.
The miss.
So they need one more point to win this match and advance to the state championship. The 7 count here. Cadella has to strike out, and he needs an open frame if he wants to win. And he's way wide.
That won't
so
get there.
That will be a Central win at number 5. So Rummel can't clinch just yet.
Can do it at 6. A Gendron strike, and it's over.
Yep.
And count, of course. He's
Absolutely.
Still,
that's a missed spare, so that'll be a 2-11 game. At number 5 for Central.
That's Williston. And
Cadella with a solid game. Nothing wrong with a 177 game.
A good bounce back after a tough start. Yeah,
exactly.
And he came back at 210, 177 the next 2 games.
Central's going to win at 1 and 2, but Rummel's winning at 3. And that's all they need is one more point. Right. So either Rummel's 3rd bowler or Rummel's 6th bowler can clinch the match.
This is over now. This is over if really just needs a
on
mark now. Gendron just needs a mark. That would wrap it up. Even if Central's anchor Colin Duke converts to 3, 6, 7, 10 over on lane 11. This is it. If Gendron fills the box here in the 10th frame or stays behind the foul line in the event of a miss, then you can close it out. Rummel will be at 14 points. And again, as you see at the bottom of your screen there, that's what it takes to win.
Absolutely. So 146 game. Gendron just needs to stay behind the foul line here. And he does. And the Archbishop Rummel Raiders are advancing to the state championship match on the boys' side. What an accomplishment for the 21st seed.
Yep, and they've beaten, they haven't had an easy road. They've beaten the number 5, the number 4, and the number 1 seeds to get and guess what's waiting for you? Either number 2 or number 3 at this point. So
good luck with that.
You'll have faced 4 of the top 5 seeds to get to the finals.
All right, Kent Lowe with us from the Advocate. Kent, first year for the seedings, and to have a number 21 seed in the state championship, that's pretty significant.
Yeah, it is. And as I wrote on Tuesday, I mean, there are some flaws in this seeding system. There's no doubt about it that I think can be addressed very easily. But I think it shows, though, the championship quality of this Rummel team because of the type of teams they've been able to beat. And I would say they might be a formidable foe if they get going like Coach Peter wants them to in a championship match. And for Phil Godley of Central, now his attention's got to focus on his girls team in this final game because they're maybe heading to a 14-13
real close.
Match here.
It's 8-6 right now.
9-7.
Ken, we'll let you go down and see what we can get on Brother Martin and Central Lafourche, and we'll check back in with you shortly. So Kent's going to go see if we can get that. I'm glancing that way as we speak, Lenny, and Levron has thrown 4 in a row now.
Yep.
And their 5 bowlers got 2 in a row. And the number 1 hole is pretty close. The number 4 hole, I should say. Right. So look at the low pit. That's where Brother Martin usually separates. But the number 1 bowler
they win there.
Central Lafourche is going to win.
234.
The number 2 bowler for Central Lafourche may win. And the number 3 bowler for Central Lafourche has a 5-bagger. That match is not over.
244 there. They're certainly closing this gap. Let's see how it all plays out here.
So we'll get Kent to update us there. Again, the margin was, what, 11-5, right?
11-5.
And
so
the
Brother
total
Martin
pins?
needs 3 points. And it was, I need to go check the numbers here, but I think it was pretty close to 200 pins going into the final game.
Yeah, so it would, Brother Martin likely gets to 3 bonus points, and that's all they need to win.
If they can hold
Yes.
this, because again, they've got to keep getting what they can get here.
Well, they had
even
11,
losing
and if they
matches.
get the 3 super points, they win the match. So that gives them 14. The point being that Central Lafourche would have to win this game by a gigantic margin.
And look, they are trying to close some of this gap here. There's no question about it.
Yeah, they're bowling very well. Another strike for Central Lafourche. They continue to show well. But again, as Kent mentioned, the seeding process is such that it's better, but it's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination.
Right, and like I said, based on averages, Brother Martin and Central Lafourche were the 2 best of the semifinal teams. As Rummel continues to close
really
this out
good finish
right
by their 3rd bowler here.
Right. Central has won at 1 and 2, but Rummel looks like they're going to win 3. It's just a question of what they're going to do.
Another strike for Central Lafourche. And you can hear their fans going crazy. They continue to bowl really well.
Let's check in with Kent real quick and get an update on exactly what's happening.
It is the madhouse down at this end of the house here. They're the Brother Martin's, or Central Lafourche, pardon me, is going to go 234, 244, and this is for like 7 in a row to close this thing out. They're going to shoot 700 as a 1-2-3 here. They're 716 before this final shot is rolled. And this has been some amazing bowling down here. Two-hander, throws another one. 248, they shoot 726 as a 3-man 1-2-3 lineup. Brother Martin shoots an amazing 639.
Doesn't win a point.
But they're down 87 pins in the 1-2-3 spots. And we're about to go to 10th on the other side.
All right, we'll let Lenny go down there too and check out what the scenario is so we can get the actual total pins and see where that match is as we speak with regard to total pins, because clearly that's going to be a decider, because Brother Martin had a big edge and all they needed was the 3 super points on total pins to be able to advance, and they may need them because of the way these matches have unfolded with Central Lafourche just getting it done. I mean, that's right now you're close at number 6 with Schaefer and Leveron. 6-point match, 6-pin match with Schaefer on tap. 1-pin match at the top in favor of Brother Martin. So they're up by 1 and up by 6 in 2 matches, down in the other. And it is not over. Central Lafourche bowling great to give themselves an opportunity here. That's really special for them to perform the way they're performing. Let's go down to Lenny Van Gilder now with this update. Lenny, take it away.
Checking back in from down here in this Brother Martin Central Lafourche match right now. It appears, at least at first glance here, that Brother Martin is okay in terms of pins. They appear to be about 50 pins up in the match right now as we head into the 10th frame on the high pit. So, barring a collapse, that would still give them an advantage. A big shot right there by Hunter Dunn as you hear the crowd reaction for that strike. And a 10-pin over on lane 8. So Dunn still has a chance to win the game here. If he strikes out for 68, Central Lafourche would have to convert this spare.
All right. Kent's
Barrios at number 4, and he does. That will clinch number 4 for Central Lafourche. Dunn with a big strike, and they know they've got to get total pins right now. That's what.
Right. Right.
And again, if you just look, Central Lafourche low pin, 3 gains by 30. So as you look at the team totals up on the screen, Brother Martin is a 75-pin lead on the high pit. So that would be about a 43.
Yeah. About 43.
See how this plays out at the end. Dunn for the fill ball.
And
Strikes out for
168. So
that
loses
is-
by 10, but picked up a lot of pins there.
right now for Lafourche. None for Brother Martin. Central Lafourche in command.
So Central Lafourche has won.
And they're
They've won all 4
10
matches
pins.
thus far, right?
Yeah.
And they're going to win. They're going to win at
exactly.
5.
Yeah.
For 194.
They're going to win at 5, it appears. And then at 6, it's a 4-pin match. But Brother Martin probably wins the super pins,
Yeah.
which means the 3 points would give them the match.
You could have 2 of these semifinals go to
Go
super
that
pins.
way. Exactly.
Wow, that's a big strike right there.
Yeah. Well, he can't win the match, but he's getting pins,
No,
obviously.
but you want to make sure total.
Sure, absolutely. So, and shaved the 10-pin. Didn't need it to win the match, but obviously saved pins in the process, so it's important that occurred.
How about those 3 kids from
Unbelievable.
with a
I mean,
7-something?
726 on the low
That's
pin.
amazing.
Yeah. That's
and,
an amazing
and Brother
performance.
Martin was 639.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, nothing wrong with 639.
No.
That's terrific in the low pit, in fact.
yeah.
And they got smoked. Tells you how good Central Lafourche is, doesn't it? 10-pin there, so good pitch, but 10-pin. So a 10-pin there.
No, we're having some wireless problems there. The spread
It's just called
was,
a battery.
was 161 going into the match. Brother Martin, or Central Lafourche, won the low pit by 87, so that means you got to stay within 74 here no matter what happens. And it's 10 and 53 right now, 63 in those first 2 matches. Or check that now. Let's close. That's 10 and 33 now with the spare conversion. So that's 43 pins difference. And here you go.
Lebron broke up a split to stay alive.
Four pin.
Yeah, he needed that. If he split, he was going to be a loser.
I think, yeah, the match could get decided here, but now it's.
Brother
I
Martin's
think
pins are too many. Huh?
I think the pins are too many at this point.
Well, certainly Cody Schaefer would like to have them breathe a sigh of relief and get them another point here, right?
You want to win, yeah. You want to win a match just individually, and
then he strikes.
throws that. And look, you see. Well, and remember this, and hopefully maybe we get a chance to talk to Bruce Himbert here for a second when this is over, because we'll have a couple of minutes while we finish out these girls' matches that are in the 5th frame. But Brother Martin doesn't get pushed like this, and that's the one thing. How do you respond when you get pushed?
Yeah.
And we've seen it here in the 10th frame as Dunn struck out, Gardner strike spare, and then Schaefer with a strike here to really close this thing out. They could have easily folded. When you're not pressed and you're not used to being in this situation, how do you respond? Again, the closest match they played all year up until this point was 20-7. You see Schaefer leaving the 6-9-10. Lebron will finish with a strike for 199, so Schaefer has the match in hand.
Yeah, not enough. So looks like 15-12, Brother Martin, right?
Right. This is going to be a 7-1 game, so give him 7 points, but then Brother Martin is going to have enough to win the super total here, and that would be your final score. We expect 15-12. We'll look to confirm that. Rummel is now where we need to confirm that final as well, but we do know that the Raiders have enough points to advance. I believe that was probably in the neighborhood of 17-10.
We'll let you go ahead and get the finals on both of those. We'll bring in Kent Lowe, and you can come back and bring us the finals in terms of the numbers on the team scores with regard to Rummel's win. They have advanced, and Brother Martin's win, they have advanced. So it's going to be an all New Orleans area final, and for fans in the New Orleans area, an all Catholic League final, as they are fond of saying, and understandably so with the storied nature of that great league, as Brother Martin is on to the finals. It looks like 15-12 in a great match with Central Lafourche against Archbishop Rummel, who won more convincingly against Central.
The one thing I will give you, Kenny, is when they invented this format, the super total 3 points, when it gets tight like that, it all of a sudden becomes huge, and it really was there. I mean, that was an amazing game to watch.
No, listen, that was a great performance by Central Lafourche across the board. Great performance by Central Lafourche. So we're going to turn to the girls here momentarily and focus on what's happening there.
You probably have the two best teams that are in this group bowling in the final. So Central had a great year. There's nothing you can take away from them. They dominated things here in the Baton Rouge area and just didn't have it today when Rummel really applied the gas in the second game. That was really pretty much where it was all figured out.
Overall this year on the boys' side in Baton Rouge, not quite as strong as last year, correct?
No, that's true because Catholic
really
has Philip O'Neill as their 229, who will be the number 1 seed tomorrow. But overall, they were not as strong as they have been in past years. But, I would say overall this was not as good a year, but Central did what they had to do and dominated all year long, which was what they were expected to do pretty much here in Baton Rouge. And as I say, I think there are some things with this format that can be tweaked to make it better, but what Rummel's doing is amazing, and they have proven themselves to be a state championship finalist team here, and I think it's great. We'll see Brother Martin go for their 4th title.
Brother Martin, a definitive favorite.
Yeah.
Obviously, they have a much higher average, and they've handled Rummel when they bowled him over the last few years. So in the case of Rummel, a major uphill battle. But in the case of Rummel, they're playing, as we like to say, with house money. They got nothing to lose.
Oh, yeah.
They can be loose as can be because no one expects them to be able to beat a significantly better team in terms of average.
Exactly. And we're coming down to it now in the girls, and we've got a very, very good match right now in which Central is up by about 15 pins total in this game. So, boy, spares are going to be crucial here, Kenny, coming down the stretch. There's no doubt about it.
That's Kent Lowe from the Advocate. And that's especially true, Kent, with the girls because they don't throw as many strikes as the boys. Filling the boxes, I think, means everything on their side of things. It really is the decider by and large.
It's little things, it's spares, it's count on splits. It's things like that can, in a match like this, be the winning and losing momentum changer.
All right, so we take a look. This is an 8-6 lead going in for Central, right, into this match. Let's check in with Lenny first to get an update on the final numbers on the boys' matches. Lenny?
Yeah, we're trying to still finalize the Rummel score here, which we believe is either 17-10 or 18-9.
Make sure you're on there. I can get it.
That ought to do it, I guess. Okay.
Yeah, you might want to. Turning it on always helps,
We're trying to confirm the Rummel final, either 17-10 or 18-9, but we do know that Rummel has advanced. We're checking over the state championship rematch. Very close on the right-hand pair in this game, but AOL has really established an edge on the left-hand pair in this game, getting a big lead here at 1, 2, and 3, and they are clearly in good situation to advance. And of course, this other match between Central and South Terrebonne, who knows, as tight as this thing is, this could go down to the very last shot, Ken.
All right, so once again, 15-12, Brother Martin, right?
15-12, Brother Martin is the final. We're going to confirm the Rummel score right now. It was either 17-10 or 18-9. We're going to go confirm that right now.
Right, solid win for Rummel. All right, Lenny, thank you. We'll check back in a moment. All right, Ken, so now the girls clearly to be decided, and there's a lot to watch there.
Yeah. Looking at it right now, South Terrebonne has a lead in the 4 match and in the 1 match. So they're up in 2. 1 is tied, and 3 goes Central's way at this moment as they bowl in the 7th frame. So, and they're all very tight. So, I mean, there's a lot that could happen here in these last 3 frames.
Yeah, so it's going to come down to the last 3 frames to decide what happens there. But clearly, this match has been even from the get-go. And as we going into this, we looked at the comparative averages, and it looked like Rummel and Central would be the closest one because of how close they were in average on the boys' side. And on the girls' side, when you looked at the comparative averages, it certainly looked like South Terrebonne and Central would be the competitive match, only a 46-pin difference in average between the two teams.
And Central has had another good season. This was a good year for them. They had a their number 6 girl, Hannah Grather signed, Elena Coward signed with Southern this week, and she'll be a big factor in the singles tomorrow. She's about the 6th seed, I think it is, in that, but she is so far as this match is 9-7. I think I said 8-6.
Yeah,
earlier.
9-7. It's
9-7, 16 points so far.
9-7. Lacey Villarreal just doubled. Big shot for Central in the 1 spot, and she's got the lead. And now another strike for Central as well in their 2 spot with Magnolia Lee. So again, how you finish means everything in this particular scenario. By the way, Rummel's victory was convincing. 20-7 was the official final number in their win over Central. That's a bit of a surprise. We thought that was going to be a close match.
Yeah, I did too. I really did. I thought that one might be a lot closer, but boy, ever since they shot that 1,300 in the second match at All-Star and Kenner, they have really been on a roll, Rummel has. And I think this crowd's a little fired up for them here for the championship match. 2 good fan bases. It should be interesting.
No doubt. It's Kent Loa, the advocate. Lenny's going to jump back in, and we'll let Kent take care of some other business, and he'll rejoin us here shortly as well. So, again, 9-7 was the edge going into the final match here for Central over South Terrebonne. And let's look at what's happening right now and evaluate these matches. In match 1, Central has the edge. Match 2 is close, good spare for South Terrebonne just now to have the edge there. And in match 3, the edge is to Central by 10. So Central's up 2 matches on the low pair. On the high pair, it is South Terrebonne up in match 1, Central up in matches 2 and 3. So Central looks like they're in pretty good shape.
They've got a chance here. They've got to hold on. And again, there's not a lot of margin here, and there's not it's tight. That's the thing. So it can swing here. You don't have, when you've only got a 9-7 lead, not a lot of margin for error.
Yep. So again, it's going to come down to these last 2 frames. South Terrebonne in a come from behind mode. They have to be at this stage with the circumstances they've been presented. Here's a good pitch. Blew the 5, left the 7. Boy, that was a really nice shot on a double. And you can't make a better shot than that. Lacey Villarreal nearly tripled, and she made a great shot right there.
Yeah. Interesting that, Cody Schaefer beating Andrew Leveron in that last match. Andrew Leveron did not lose a single match in the regular season.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is neither one shot well at all. The match was a low-scoring match. I mean, both were well below their averages.
And look, you're going to make different kind of shots under pressure. There's no question about that.
Brother Martin 15-12 over Central Lafourche.
And Rummel with a 20-7 win over Central. And I'm just realizing we were showing you that score the other way around there for a while there. It was actually Rummel in the lead. And blame the graphics operator, who also happens to be your color analyst on that one. But it's Rummel with the win over Central there, 20-7.
Satyrs and the Raiders, right?
There you go. And I think it may be the first time that we've had an all-New Orleans matchup in the finals, because so much of it was done geographically for many years that it really was tough to do that.
So this match starting to wind down on the girls' side. Girls always excited.
You hear the cheer. So it takes on a different vibe. There's no question about that. Oh, check that. It's first time in 10 years that we have an all-New Orleans final.
Okay.
It happened in 2009.
All right.
Brother Martin against Shaw.
Okay.
And Shaw won that one. Brother Martin's been a runner-up twice. They've been a champion 3 times.
Trying for their 4th in 5 years, and they will be a prohibitive favorite to accomplish that here this afternoon.
That's tough to do. Let me tell you, it is
really
tough to. Look, when you're whatever sport it is, when you are at the top of the mountain there, when you're taking everybody's best shot and everybody gets fired up to play against you, to bowl against you, you pick the sport, okay? When you're getting everyone's best shot, you've got that target on your back, it is tough time after time after time to go out there and perform at a level you need to perform to continue to win.
South Terrebonne has to rally late in these matches if they want to be able to advance. Split thrown by Central. And now a chance to even up that match if South Terrebonne can mark and pick up the 10th pin here in the 1 spot. Harley Ledet. Harley trying to make the 10 pin. That's a good shot. She's got it. Really good pitch, and that's an important spare right there.
We'll go check in on what is happening down and get a final on that AOL match. Again, we mentioned they are in command, especially on the low pair.
Picked one off the other, so that's a 131. So it takes a 9 pins here
to win, yeah,
for Harley Ledet to win this match.
Big shot coming up here on lane 15 to decide this one.
Focusing on it right now. Harley Ledet needs 9 to win. This is at the head pin, needs 9, and got 8. It's a tie match.
And in a tie match, no roll-off or anything like that. It's half a point for each team. So.
Yep. And that's boy, South Terrebonne really needed that point. They got a half out of it. And she made a good shot, Lenny, hit the head pin. Gave herself a chance to get 9. Just didn't get the pin reaction. There's a strike for South Terrebonne. A triple in the 4 spot for Grace Perez. She'll win her match convincingly, but that's total pins for certain.
And total pins are tight right now. You look at this match. I mean,
they really are.
It's very close, and they could help determine the winner here.
South Terrebonne in the 2 spot will win here, despite a little bit of a washout left here.
A great finish there in the number 4 spot by Grace Perez, 174.
Really well done. And then we need to check out AOL and East Ascension, Lenny. See what the latest is there so that we can see if we can close that one out. AOL 12-4 just needed to win 2 points in the last game, much the same as the Rummel Central match was in that regard. Really good shot here for South Terrebonne. A strike. She needs needs to strike out to win that match. That's what you're talking about here. South Terrebonne wins in the 2 spot, 138-114. Alyssa Cenac over Magnolia Lee. Now the 3 spot to be decided here. This match is tightened up again. Overall, 9-7 Central coming in. Big shot for South Terrebonne. A double, and now a chance to possibly strike out to win the match. If she strikes in the 12th, then Bailey LOUISIANA can win that match, and what a big swing that would be for the Gators if she can do that. Huge. Got a half point, now trying to get a point. A 9 count is another tie. So here it is to try to win the match. The release, and it's on the head pin, and she comes up short. 7 count is the count. She falls short by 2 pins. That's a big win for Central. LOUISIANA, great rally. Almost pulled it off, but not quite. Central is going to win that match. And at the 3 spot, it's going to take a double and 9 for South Terrebonne to win here. And this is Cameron Fitch if she wants to try to win this match. And she lets it go and didn't get it, leaving the 3 pin. So not going to happen. A 2 pin, I should say. So as a result, Central's going to win that match. So they take 2 points in that one as well. And looking at the high pit, Central won at 1. Central won at 2. Central's going to win at 3, it appears. So Central is going to advance, it does appear, to the girls' championship match. It would appear that is the case. And it looks like they'll be up against the defending state champ AOL. We'll confirm the final on both ends coming up shortly. Lenny is routing himself to get those scores so that we can pass on the definitive final numbers to you here as we're watching the conclusion here for AOL. In the 3 spot, Abby Radovich, the senior. Good finish. Radovich fills 28 pins in the 10th frame, finishes at 168 to win her match. Very, very well done on her part.
Had a chance at a tie, from what I understand here.
So 158 here. Central wins 2 of those matches. So
it's one pin difference in this match. 1 pin
in favor of
Central.
Central
won the low pit by 72. South Terrebonne won the high pit by 71. It's 1 pin total.
Unreal.
We've got to check these scores and make sure that everything matches up. We've had issues before, but that may have been the deciding factor here.
Yeah. Well, look at that. You got a 1-pin match. You got a tie match. I mean, this is amazing stuff. So in the low pit, it was 1-1-1, correct? 1-1-1 on the low pit.
Right.
And in the high pit for Central.
It was Central won the 5th match by 2 pins, won the 6th match by 16. And lost convincingly in the 4th match.
So 3-2-1 Central in that match, and they won total by opinion.
And they won super total by pin. They lost total for the match.
Lost total for the match, won Super Bowl by pin, so Central is going to advance.
I believe that's the case. We're going to try to confirm that right now. Yeah, but again, AOL
won.
AOL comfortably. 21-6 was the final there.
Which was the biggest margin of any of the matches we had.
No doubt.
In the semifinals, Rummel 20-7 over Central on the boys' side. So 21-6 Academy of Our Lady, correct?
That is correct.
Yeah.
Let me confirm this score before we go off the air here, and we're going to come back for the finals here and see what we have on tap. But it is looking like Central against AOL, and we know it is Brother Martin against Rummel.
So Central, it looks like, is definitely advanced on the girls' side. They're celebrating. And what was a really good match with South Terrebonne. So very good match with South Terrebonne right now, and that was an outstanding match on their part. So well done, and obviously we'll get the final numbers coming up shortly on what happens here with regard to the final score on Central against South Terrebonne. So stay tuned for that. Lenny's going to clarify that as we speak, and we'll follow up with him here as soon as he's able to get those, and we'll plug him in and be able to tell you what the final score was.
Central
there,
wins at 15.5 to 11.5.
It's an unusual score.
It is, and that gives you an idea just how close this match was. It was and in 1 pin in total. Two more pins knocked down for South Terrebonne, and they win the match.
Unreal.
It's that close.
So the Penguins of AOL 21-6, advancing over East Ascension, and they will face the Central Wildcat girls in the finals. Central 15.5 to 11.5 over South Terrebonne. Well, it's tough going for the Gators. They bowled well.
Yeah, they certainly did. And, when it comes down to that, look, you and I both, you talk about every pin counts, right? Every pin counts. There's no doubt about that. And it came down to it there. 1 pin is the difference when you've got 2 teams bowling 18 games apiece. 1
pin in the super total.
Yeah, and that decides it because 15.5, 11.5, you swing those 3 points around. If it had been a tie, it would have still gone Central's way 14-13 because you would have split the points.
Yep.
2 more pins, and South Terrebonne wins the match 14.5, 12.5.
It's remarkable. Amazing.
We're going to get you the final scores up there to get you one last glance and then get you set up for the finals, Ken. And look, the only high seed to win a semifinal match was Brother Martin. The low seeds won the other matches. Rummel beat Central, Academy of Our Lady over East Ascension, and then Central over South Terrebonne, which was the 6 over the 2. So we've got an 8 against the 6.
Yep.
Going in one match, and then we've got 21 against the 2 in the other match. So that's what we've got at stake here. And I'll show you the finals here in just a moment here.
Yep.
And there they are, the finals on your screen there, and that sets the stage. And we should be about a half hour away from starting our championship match. Practice ball's in about 20 minutes. So we're going to go ahead and sign off for now, get ready for a finals broadcast. Ken, I only hope we have as much excitement in the finals as we just did in the semifinals.
Yep.
No doubt about it.
Yep.
It was
Thanks to Denise for pointing that out to us, too.
Right.
Denise Vidros watching, does a great job in New Orleans with the New Orleans Area League and with her Archbishop Shaw team for pointing out when Shaw won the state championship in 2009.
10th
beating
anniversary.
Brother Martin. So there you go, 10th anniversary. And that league well represented here, aren't they?
No doubt. And look, the New Orleans area has got some outstanding bowling, no question about that, and we're going to see it on display with 3 of the 4 teams in the finals.
Very good. All right, Lenny. So we'll take a timeout here. We'll be back with you for the pregame leading into the start of our state championship matches, pitting the Academy of Our Lady Penguins against the Central Wildcats and the Brother Martin Crusaders against the Archbishop Rummel Raiders. So stay with us at CrescentCitySports.com. We'll have that coming up for you here, in about 5, 10, 15 minutes. Stay tuned.
All right.
Back then. Thank you for being with us, and we'll be back in just a bit.